What if we told you that some of Hollywood's most unforgettable faces have changed so dramatically that even loyal fans can barely recognize them today? From beloved sweethearts to style icons and television legends, these remarkable transformations have sparked surprise, debate, and endless fascination. In this video, you'll see how fame, pressure, and the pursuit of youth reshaped some of the most talked-about celebrities ever. And believe us, a few of these stories may leave you genuinely stunned. Meg Ryan was once America's sweetheart, the warm, witty star whose smile lit up beloved films like When Harry Met Sally and Sleepless in Seattle. Audiences did not fall for her because she looked distant or glamorous. They loved her because she felt familiar, expressive, and wonderfully real. That natural charm made her one of Hollywood's most cherished leading ladies for years. As time passed, however, Meg faced the same pressure many actresses encounter in an industry that rewards youth and closely studies every change. Reports and public speculation linked her evolving appearance to fillers, facelifts, and other cosmetic treatments. Whether every rumor was accurate or not, viewers clearly noticed a difference. Her cheeks appeared fuller, her features tighter, and the soft spontaneity that once defined her screen presence seemed less visible. For many longtime fans, that shift felt surprising because Meg's appeal had always come from ease, warmth, and authenticity rather than perfection. What makes her story so compelling is not simple shock over appearance. It is the deeper question of what Hollywood asks women to preserve, even when age naturally changes every face. Meg Ryan's transformation became part of a larger conversation about fame, memory, and identity. People were not only reacting to a different look, they were reacting to the fading of a familiar image tied to some of their favorite movie moments. Her journey reminds us that the pursuit of lasting youth can sometimes overshadow the qualities that made a star unforgettable in the first place. Even so, her legacy as a beloved romantic comedy icon remains secure. For many viewers, that emotional disconnect mattered most, because they still remembered the woman they had first adored. Donatella Versace is one of the most recognizable women in fashion, a figure whose image is almost as iconic as the brand she helped lead. After the heartbreaking loss of her brother Gianni Versace in 1997, Donatella stepped forward to carry the house of Versace into a new era. She did more than preserve a legacy. She expanded it, turning herself into a symbol of luxury, boldness, and reinvention. Over the years, however, Donatella's appearance became a major topic of public fascination. Reports and widespread commentary linked her changing look to cosmetic procedures such as fillers, Botox, and laser treatments. Viewers noticed tighter skin, fuller lips, and more dramatic facial contours, especially around her cheeks and mouth. For some, her transformation seemed like a natural extension of the glamorous theatrical world she represented. For others, it raised questions about whether the pursuit of youth and perfection had gone too far. What makes Donatella's story especially compelling is that it sits at the crossroads of image and identity. She works in an industry built on beauty, aspiration, and visual impact, so the pressure to maintain a striking appearance is constant and intense. Yet even with all the commentary, Donatella remains far more than a headline about cosmetic change. She is still admired for her creative leadership, business instincts, and fierce resilience. Her evolving face may spark debate, but it has never erased her influence. If anything, it reveals how deeply fashion culture ties power to appearance, especially for women in visible roles. Donatella Versace's journey serves as a vivid reminder that in worlds obsessed with surface, personal reinvention can be both empowering and costly at the very same time for anyone. Joan Rivers was never just a comedian. She was a pioneer, a sharp-minded entertainer who fought her way through an industry that often gave women little space to be bold, aging, and unapologetically visible. Her humor was fearless, her timing was unmatched, and her influence stretched from stand-up stages to red carpets and daytime television. But alongside her career, Joan also became closely associated with plastic surgery. Unlike many public figures, she rarely hid that part of her life. In fact, she often joked about it before anyone else could, turning personal choices into comedy. Over time, Joan underwent numerous procedures, including facelifts, eyelid work, Botox, and fillers. As the years passed, her face appeared tighter, more sculpted, and less expressive than the one audiences first knew. That transformation became part of her identity almost as much as her wit. Yet Joan's story is about more than one woman trying to look younger. It reflects beauty pressure placed on female performers, especially those determined to remain visible past the age when Hollywood looks away. Joan understood the game, and she refused to be defeated by it. Still, her appearance became a reminder that chasing control over aging can come with costs. What makes her legacy powerful is that she never stopped being herself, even when her face changed dramatically. She remained brilliant, funny, relentless, and self-aware. Joan Rivers's journey shows how humor can hide vulnerability, and how fame can turn personal insecurities into public spectacle. In the end, people may remember the surgeries, but they remember the voice even more. That voice was bold enough to make the world laugh while revealing truths about beauty, status, survival, and show business. Lil' Kim arrived in the 1990s with fearless energy, unforgettable style, and a voice that made her impossible to ignore. She was not simply successful. She was disruptive in the best sense, reshaping hip-hop, fashion, and female self-expression with confidence that felt revolutionary. Her image was bold, glamorous, and unapologetic, and she quickly became one of the most discussed women in music. As the years passed, however, public fascination with Lil' Kim shifted from her artistry to her appearance. Fans noticed dramatic changes in her face, skin tone, and overall look, which led to constant rumors about surgery and cosmetic treatments. The conversation often became harsh, but the deeper story is more personal. Lil' Kim later spoke about the pain behind many of her choices, describing years of criticism, emotional wounds, and damaging relationships that affected how she saw herself. That context matters. Her transformation was not just about vanity or trend chasing. It reflected deeper struggles with identity, acceptance, and survival in an industry that frequently tells women they are never enough as they are. What makes her story so powerful is that it forces audiences to look beyond the surface. Yes, her appearance changed dramatically, and people responded with shock. But behind that change was a woman navigating rejection, pressure, and scrutiny, while trying to protect her sense of self. Lil' Kim remains a cultural force whose influence on music and style cannot be erased by gossip. Her journey is human. It reminds us that when a celebrity transforms, the world sees the result, but rarely the pain and history behind it. In that way, her story is both cautionary and compassionate for viewers willing to look deeper. Jocelyn Wildenstein became one of the most talked-about names in cosmetic surgery, not because she pursued subtle changes, but because her transformation became so extreme that the world could not stop staring. Once known as a glamorous New York socialite, she later drew international attention for a dramatically altered appearance that many associated with repeated facial procedures. Public discussion around Jocelyn often focused on her cat-like features, tightened skin, enhanced cheeks, and heavily reshaped face. Over time, the media gave her sensational nicknames, turning her into a spectacle rather than a person. According to the story presented in the original script, her pursuit of this unusual look was connected to pleasing her then-husband, art dealer Alec Wildenstein, who reportedly admired big cats. Whether people viewed her transformation with shock, fascination, or sympathy, one thing was clear. She no longer resembled the woman many believed she had once been. Yet Jocelyn's story is not only about procedures, it is also about public cruelty, identity, and the way fame can trap someone inside an image that overshadows everything else. Critics often frame her as a warning about excess, but that view alone can feel incomplete. She has also presented herself as confident and unashamed, refusing to accept the world's ridicule on its terms. That tension makes her unforgettable on this subject. Jocelyn Wildenstein's journey reveals how cosmetic transformation can shift from personal choice into cultural obsession. The face changes, but then the story grows larger than the person. In her case, beauty became performance, the performance became controversy, and the controversy became permanent. Few examples show more clearly how fame, pressure, and extreme reinvention can blur the line between self-expression and self-erasure. Janice Dickinson was never easy to ignore. Long before today's era of carefully managed celebrity branding, she built her reputation on bold beauty, fierce confidence, and a personality that demanded attention. Often described as one of the first true supermodels, Janice dominated magazine covers and runways in the 1970s and 1980s, becoming famous not only for her striking features, but for her willingness to say exactly what she thought. As time went on, Janice also became unusually open about cosmetic surgery. She discussed breast augmentation, facelifts, Botox, and other aesthetic treatments with a level of candor that many public figures avoided. That honesty made her fascinating to some and controversial to others. Over the years, however, repeated procedures visibly changed her appearance. The look that had once seemed raw, angular, and naturally commanding evolved into something far more polished and sculpted. Supporters praised her transparency and her right to control her own image. Critics argued that the procedures pushed her too far from the face that first made her famous. What makes Janice Dickinson's story stand out is that she never pretended to be untouched by beauty culture. She confronted it directly, even when the results invited scrutiny. In that sense, her transformation became a public conversation about power, vanity, honesty, and the price of staying relevant in an industry obsessed with youth. Her journey reminds us that cosmetic change is not always hidden behind silence or denial. Sometimes it is declared openly, defended boldly, and followed by criticism or misunderstanding. Janice Dickinson remains memorable because she exposed how unstable that ideal is. Her story leaves viewers asking whether honesty softens beauty pressure or makes the consequences impossible to ignore. Anjelica Huston has always carried a rare kind of screen presence. Elegant, intelligent, and unmistakably commanding. Born into one of Hollywood's most storied families, she built a career that proved she was far more than famous by association. From Prizzi's honor to the Addams Family, Huston brought wit, force, and sophistication to every role, and her striking bone structure became part of her signature appeal. In recent years, however, public attention has shifted from her performances to her appearance. Fans who once admired her naturally sculpted features began to notice a smoother complexion and more defined facial contours, leading to ongoing speculation about cosmetic enhancements. Anjelica Huston has not publicly confirmed the rumors discussed for years, but the visible changes still fueled conversation. What people seemed to react to most was not merely the possibility of treatments. It was the contrast between the vividly expressive face they remembered and the more refined, less familiar version seen later in public life. Her story reflects a broader reality in entertainment, especially for women who age under constant observation. Even icons with serious talent and lasting prestige are not spared the pressure to appear unchanged. That pressure can reshape public perception just as much as it reshapes a face. Yet reducing Houston's legacy to appearance alone would miss the larger truth. She remains an acclaimed actress whose work still speaks louder than the commentary surrounding her looks. Her transformation matters because it reveals the tension between personal choice, public expectation, and the burden of aging in a visual industry. More than anything, Anjelica Huston's journey reminds viewers that timeless talent and changing appearances often coexist, even when audiences struggle to separate the two. These 7 stories remind us that fame can magnify every choice, every insecurity, and every attempt to hold on to time. Which transformation surprised you most, and which story moved you the deepest? Share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe for more classic Hollywood stories, and stay with us until the next video, where we uncover even more unforgettable faces, lives, and turning points behind the spotlight you still remember.